Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Marshall back here with another video. As you guys see, I got the New Mexico State shirt back on. A different one. I got multiple of them. Too much to count, but I have a lot here, a lot back in Cruces, where I'm storing at my friend's house, and then El Paso as well. Biggest thing is I want to talk about in this video is about Pascal Siakam. Past couple days there hasn't really been too many big news surrounding the basketball team for this upcoming season. As you guys know, we've got a lot of new signees who I've talked about in the previous videos. Today we're going to talk about a former Aggie who's paved out the best NBA career of any former Aggie. Now, that doesn't mean he's the best Aggie of all time. There's a lot of guys in the running for that. You know, Teddy Allen's arguable. Wendell McKinnis Jr. A lot of guys, you know, more than that. But those are two that just come to mind right away. Two guys who have showed love to the social media accounts. And hopefully they can show love to the YouTube as well. That'd be great. Once again, before we even start, I just want to say please go follow my Instagram and Twitter account for the basketball team, kind of like this YouTube, same name. I'll throw it up on the screen. Please go check that out if you haven't already. I know I've put it in a couple of videos recently. I just really want to spread that. It's getting more and more by the day. I think, what was it? At the start of last season, they both were like under 100, and now they're both almost at 300, like 250, 260 in that range. And then for YouTube, about 620, 619 to be exact. I want to keep raising that up, reach my goals and everything I do. And the biggest thing is staying consistent. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I know there hasn't been a video the past couple of days, but I did 3 straight back to back, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I know I said I was going to make about 1 to 3 videos a week, and I'm planning on continuing to do that at least. And you never know, there might be always more. Worst case scenarios, there's a video a week, but I really want to try to get as much as I can. And I thought no better than to talk about a great Aggie, you know, a guy who reps NM State well. And I remember a couple years ago whenever they made the tournament and beat UConn, and we're still the last team to beat UConn in the tournament, for those that don't know. That's a fun fact. Pascal posted something on his IG story, I think, or one of his, maybe it was Twitter, I'm not too sure, or Snapchat, but he posted something saying go Aggies. So he's still, you know, repping us a little bit, and he's not on the New Mexico State Hall of Fame yet, but he will soon, the Basketball Hall of Fame, without a doubt. Probably in the NBA too, if he continues to have a great career. Here he has a ring with the Raptors back in 2019, about 5 years ago. Well, it is 5 years ago. And maybe he can continue to win some. I mean, the Pacers had a really good run. And so we're talking about today. I'm not a big fan of the Pacers. I mean, I'm a Blazers fan. I don't really root for anybody else but the Blazers. But I respect greatness. And Pascal is definitely one of my favorite players in the league just because he went to NMSU. I liked watching his rise to stardom. Remember back in 2019, I didn't even know he went to NMSU. And then a couple years ago, a couple years I figured out that he went there, and then I didn't know I was going to be going there, but I did. So it's cool to say that I went to the same school as a NBA All-Star, or Superstar, even if you want to call him. I don't know if he's on that level yet, but he's definitely going to get there soon. He played very well in the playoffs in that first round against the Bucks. The first 2 games of the series, he was the leading scorer for both teams, even more than my boy Dame, my favorite player in the NBA. He had like 36 points, 37 points. He was just dominating. He played really well for the rest of the playoffs, but he still wasn't putting up those 36, 37 point numbers, but he was still averaging over 20 a game, about 21. His career averages are about 17, so he was able to average more than that. He was on the Raptors, who were struggling this year, and then got traded to the Pacers midway through the season, which gave him a lot better chance to win. And he's a winning player, so he should belong on a winning team. He won that 2019 championship. He was with the Aggies for 2 years, and Aggies, they're used to winning. Again, I know these past couple years they haven't really done that, but I'm sure they will soon, and I'm sure they'll get back to where they're used to, and I know a lot of fans are excited about that. So, he did a lot of great things in the playoffs, had a lot of great scoring outbursts, helped the Pacers beat the Bucks in 6 games. I know they were injured, but still helped them win the series. I was rooting for the Bucks because of Dame being my favorite player in the NBA. Wanted him to be successful and have a chance to win the ring, but he still got a lot of chances to do that, as well as Pascal, which he already has one, but he has a chance to get more. I feel like Pascal's also a really underrated player as well. People know how great he is, obviously. They know he's an all-star caliber player, really great player. Now that he's on the Pacers, I think he has a good chance to continue getting better. And fun fact, his first game in the Pacer uniform was actually against my favorite team, the Blazers, in Portland. And surprisingly, we actually beat them. We actually beat the Pacers twice this season, both times we played them, which was pretty shocking because the Pacers are one of the best teams in the league. Blazers, one of the worst teams in the league, and we still only got number 7 pick, which I'm still a little bit upset about. But if there was a draft to get screwed in, this is the one. Since it's not as great as other drafts, but I do still think it will be a good draft. I think it's going to be underrated. I think there will still be a lot of great players come out of it. Getting a little sidetracked, that's not what the video's about. But his first game against, in the Pacers uniform was against the Blazers. I think he had a pretty good game. I can't remember his exact stat line, but I remember it was in Portland. And so I was like watching that game and watching the intros and stuff. I remember when they said for New Mexico State, Pascal Siakam. It was pretty cool to hear like from New Mexico State, just hear that on the announcers, because him and Traveling Queen are the only guys in the NBA right now currently that are that went to NMSU, and it's just great to see him in that game. I wasn't there live obviously, but I watched it and got to see that. And a lot of times too, I'll like go back and watch when he got drafted, and I'll say with I think he was what pick was he? I'm not sure. I want to say he was 26th or 7th. I could be wrong on both of those, but I think it was one of those picks. I remember Adam Silver saying, with the so-and-so pick, Pascal Siakam from New Mexico State. And that was awesome. I thought it was really cool to hear that. Just, again, he represents NMSU well, represents Las Cruces and the Aggies, all that. So really cool about that. I think I have some friends who have some Pascal gear, which is awesome. And he's really loved at NMSU. I think at every game, I always saw someone in an NMSU jersey, which is awesome. He also helped the Pacers beat the Knicks in 7 games, which no one really thought they were going to win that, including myself. Again, Jalen Brunson did get hurt, but he still helped them out. They got swept by the Celtics, but the Celtics looked like they might win the championship. The Mavericks are looking really good too. Even though they got swept, it was a close 4 games for the most part. They were competitive, and 3 of them for sure they should have been able to win, but they choked. That wasn't all on Pascal because he had a really good game in a lot of them. I think he had 28 points in game 2, and he was sat like the last 9 minutes, so he could have probably had almost 40, honestly. They just weren't going to win that game. That was the only game they weren't really competitive in game 2. But no, he's done a lot of great things in his career so far, and he started off his career kind of slow. His rookie year, sophomore year in the league, he wasn't really known, wasn't really doing a whole lot. Won the most improved player of the year in 2019, up to scoring a whole bunch to about, I think he was averaging like 16 a game or something like that. Then he followed it up the next season, continued to improve, get to an all-star, was averaging 21, 22, I think he even averaged 24 one year. Did a lot of great things. In his NMSU career, I believe he redshirted his freshman year. I believe he redshirted. And then his sophomore year, he averaged about 12 points a game. And then his junior year, his last year before he ended the draft, he was averaging just about 20 points per game. Which again, I've always said this in a lot of my videos. If you're averaging 20 points per game in college, that is awesome. Guys like Devin Booker, and this is no shade to him, he's admitted it multiple times, or talked about it multiple times, how he even scored 20 points once in college. I think he had like 19 points 3 times, 18 points a couple times, but he never had 20. Never started a game, and he was at Kentucky, really good team, really great program. Not a lot of guys average 20 a game. I'm not sure the guy's name, but this past year in Division I basketball, the highest leader in scoring was 24 points a game. And then a guy on our team right now, and MSU's Wadey Jackson, one of the greatest scorers in D2 this past season, averaged about 22 a game. So you see those guys, like, compared to NBA players, like Luka, who averaged like 34, 35, you're not going to really see that in college basketball. And if you do, then it's more than likely at one of the lower levels. And if somehow, some way, someone's doing the D1, that's crazy. That's just women's basketball, like Caitlin Clark did this past season. But there's obviously a big difference in men's basketball and women's basketball. Women's basketball is tending to get more recognition, which is good for them, though. Pascal started all the games in the playoffs, and he's been starting past, he's been starting for at least 5-6 years now, consistently. I remember last year, 2023, when he was in the All-Star game. I was watching with some friends, and it was just cool to see him in it. Cool to see a former Aggie be playing in it. Pascal's done a lot of great things in his career. This past season, he averaged 21.3 points per game. I have it pulled up right here. So fact-checking myself a little bit. There are a lot of players that I can, know on the top of my head. Pascal's not one of those guys yet. Hopefully soon he is. But he last year said he averaged 24 again. That was his career high in scoring. And I think he continued to improve. I mean, he's a young dude. He's not young, but he's still got time to finish off his career great and do a lot of great things and have a chance to win another championship. And hopefully he does for all of NMSU. I feel like if there's ever a year where, let's say the Blazers aren't in it, obviously my favorite team, or if Dame's not competing for a championship anymore, then Pascal might be a guy I root for. You know what I mean? Wasn't really rooting for the Pacers this year just because they were kind of getting annoying. I think they were getting a little too boasty on themselves. But I always root for Pascal. He's a great player. It was nice watching him and Dame battle in that first round. Dame being my favorite player in the league, and then Pascal being, again, a former Aggie. Was great to watch that. I don't know what else to really say. I've already kind of discussed a lot. He's a guy I post a lot on my social media accounts of the basketball team. Like I said, he's loved by a lot of NMSU fans. There are some fans that don't like that he doesn't mention NMSU as much, like when he's talking about his career and all that. But he loves it. And again, he's posted things like I said earlier. Whenever they went to the March Madness tournament back in 2022, he posted about how he beat UConn. And that was great. And I'm sure whenever his career's all said and done, and he gets retired, number 43, and the Raptors at, the Pan American Center, then, he'll come back and it'll be great to see him. And hopefully I can make it to that, whether I'm living in Cruces at the time or whatever I'm doing, you know what I mean? I don't know when that'll be, probably not for a while. But he's definitely deserving of it, and he'll definitely get it. There's no doubt in my mind he'll get it. I mean, why wouldn't he, right? He had a great career at NMSU, and then obviously paved out the greatest NBA career out of any Aggie. There's been a lot of great players in the NBA that come out of NMSU, but he's definitely been the better of them. Another guy I'm looking forward to seeing in the NBA, or hopefully in the NBA, is Sir Jabari Rice, who I actually met. I'll throw a picture on the screen right now. Really cool dude, really cool guy to talk to. It's cool to say, hey, I talked to an NBA player, but also, he played at NMSU pretty recently. He was part of that 2022 team. So hopefully I'm not saying he's gonna have a career like Pascal, but hopefully he can emerge into somebody, a great player in the league. And I know Teddy Allen's trying to make a league. Traveling Queen, who's been playing the league. Teddy's brother, Timmy's actually in the league right now. So hopefully Teddy can follow in his footsteps and do a lot of great things. But that's gonna close with the video. Just kind of wanted to talk about Pascal and how he was able to do in the playoffs and how he had many great scoring games, and he was just really hard to stop in the paint. I mean, he could shoot the 3-ball relatively well. He could, make his middies, make his free throws consistently. So he's not a bad shooter at all, but that's not really what he's known for. He was just scoring a lot in the paint and using his size to his advantage. He's just really tough to guard in the paint. Great defender. Did a lot of great things. His efficiency was pretty well. His plus minus was good. He obviously had his games where he wasn't as good as usual, but every player's gonna have those games. He really carried the Pacers in those first 2 games against the Bucks in that first round. And then, it rubbed off on his teammates, like Tyrese was able to get it going. His teammates were able to start playing better, and that was all thanks to him. So I really do appreciate you guys for watching the video. If you guys have any suggestions, whether it's former Aggies to talk about, or future Aggies, or Aggies that, get signed, whatever it may be, if you want me to highlight on one of the players like Christian Cook, Jaden Harris, something like that, let me know, and I'll try to get to that and do that. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm out.